Arjun Mehta's daily reality begins with a memory of a day he hasn't lived yet. Every morning at exactly 7:16 a.m., he wakes up with a sharp, undeniable vision of the next 14 hours playing out in his head. He treats this foresight as a beneficial input. When he remembers spilling coffee on a white shirt later in the afternoon, he simply puts on a different one. The spill never happens. When he recalls a bitter, screaming match with his boss, he chooses to sit in complete silence during their meeting. The conflict vanishes. He is casually editing his own timeline, holding what feels like total control over his environment. Then comes Wednesday morning. At 7:16 a.m., the memory delivers a system crash. Arjun watches himself standing in the freezing rain, arguing into a phone, before a truck plows into him. The brakes fail. He dies at exactly 9:03 p.m. If he can effortlessly swap a shirt or skip a meeting, preventing a fatal traffic accident should be simple math. He has over 13 hours to alter the variables. Yet this particular memory carries a strange, terrifying weight. The foresight of tomorrow's memories serves as the bait required to pull Arjun into the cycle. Arjun treats his impending death like a software bug that needs to be isolated. He stays off the roads. He cancels his meetings. He locks himself inside his apartment and powers down his phone to guarantee the fatal argument from his memory never takes place. But the memories start rapidly shifting, feeding him the real-time results of his new inputs. In one version, he drives far outside the city limits to escape, only to skid off a slick road and die at exactly 9:03 p.m. He tests another path. He stays bolted inside his living room, completely removed from traffic. A sudden gas leak triggers an explosion in his kitchen. Time of death, 9:03 p.m. These memories illustrate the physical law of Arjun's reality. From a single starting point, he can generate widely different, chaotic paths. But no matter the trajectory, every desperate attempt aggressively curves back to snap into a single, immutable moment, 9:03 p.m. The timeline operates as a ruthless, self-correcting algorithm. Human agency and the concept of avoidance are mathematically useless when the universe will warp whatever actions you take to hit a hard-coded result. At 8:47 p.m., an anomaly breaches his controlled environment. A delivery worker hands over an untraceable brown paper package. Inside is an old black phone. The device rings. The caller on the other end is his own voice. It is an older version of himself, calling to deliver a grim report. They have lived and failed this exact day thousands of times. Every frantic attempt to outsmart the clock has failed. To truly stop the repetition, the caller proposes a terrifying paradox. Arjun must stop running, step out into the road, and willingly accept his death. Arjun steps out of his apartment into the downpour. The frantic terror of the past 14 hours evaporates, replaced by a strange, quiet surrender. He stands facing the asphalt. He stands entirely still. He doesn't brace for impact. He simply watches as blinding headlights rush le grain. To supposedly bypass the timeline's hard-coded conclusion, the victim must willingly choose to execute it themselves. Arjun wakes up. It is exactly 7:16 a.m. His heart is calm. For the first time, there is no terrifying foresight, no memory of a doomed tomorrow. He feels a profound, absolute peace. Then, a buzzing sound from across the room. The black phone is already sitting on his table. The screen flickers, and a faint voice echoes from the speaker. "Hi, Arjun." The true mechanical horror of the sequence is that surrendering to the truck was never an exit condition. It was simply the final psychological stage, moving from panic to escape attempts to peaceful acceptance, all required to execute a system reset. The phone call served as the system's final calibration. By utilizing Arjun's own voice, the loop bypassed his survival instinct and led him to the exact coordinates needed for the truck to strike. His cooperation was the final variable needed to close the circuit. When a timeline demands a specific outcome, it doesn't just block your escape routes. It actively uses your free will, your exhaustion, and your desperate desire for peace as the ultimate control mechanism. The horror of an unbreakable loop resides in the realization that every decision, even the act of surrender was a pre-programmed requirement for the reset.